morning. My name is Matthias Wlaka and this is
Knut. Good morning. So all good, no hangover? Okay, cool. What an amazing night yesterday, right? So in our next trick, we're going to show you how to invest your money wisely to make a business transformation happen. You may ask yourself, Otto? What's Otto? Otto is actually the biggest online retailer in Europe for furniture and the second biggest after our next competitor who's kind of relevant, Amazon. You probably heard about them. Anyway, so Werner Otto started the company in 1949, hand gluing pictures of shoes onto paper, which you can see up there, building the first mail order empire in Germany. So fast forward a couple of decades later, after building up a mainframe to digitize the processes in the 70s, the internet happened and the personal computer happened. Otto started sending out CD-ROMs. The older folks in the room might remember what that was. And the internet came. Otto plugged a shopping front end on top of the existing mail order processes. And again, fast forward, we now have a digital ecosystem. We experiment with Internet of Things. So a few months ago, you could have your washing machine order supplies automatically from our store. Was not that successful yet, but we'll think it will be in the future. So a whole ecosystem, but does that all work well, Matthias? Do we have a future?
So that sounds good, right? We have 7 million customers in Germany. We make a revenue of about 3.5 billion euros. Sounds all good, but we had a couple of issues. Our growth was about 2 to 3% per year. Amazon doubled his revenue since 2017. They just completely outperformed us. It was clear that we need to do something, but we had a couple of issues. Our legacy system was based on a 40-year-old mail catalog process system, so you could not just replace it. We knew that we need to do something because our clients were frustrated that they could not find the articles they were looking for on our website. We had only about 700,000 articles on our web page. Amazon has, I think, in Germany around 230 million-ish. Maybe a little bit too much, but we had definitely too little. Our legacy hindered us to do more. We had a limitation, a technical limitation of a 6-digit article number. So you can imagine this is pretty bad. So we had to do something about that. And we thought about maybe a marketplace would be good. But cultural-wise, if you think about it, from a history of a strong retailer, the idea of bringing other retailers onto your web page was absurd for the category managers. I mean, think about it, if you're the category manager for Samsung, and suddenly there's another retailer bringing Samsung television sets on the same web page. It was completely absurd. So we had technical issue, process issue, culture issues, many issues, but we lost market share every year. So we had to do something.
So there, clicker works, yeah. So we had a vision, becoming a marketplace. But that vision, as Matthias mentioned, had a couple of integrated challenges. So first, we needed to transform our business model. So from just in quotes, selling goods online or via catalog back in the day, we wanted to make money through commissions, services, advertising, all of that kind of stuff, what other platforms do as well. Secondly, we needed to transform our capabilities and processes. As Matthias mentioned, catalog-based processes baked into our legacy systems, not easy, if not impossible to change, and the processes and everything as well. So then the technology landscape we had, even though we didn't have the mainframe anymore, but it was still Oracle, PL, SQL, business logic, hard-coded into that, Java-based processes, a monolith you could not change. Fourth, the transformation of the way we work. We had people, we had teams who were used to work in a certain way since 40 years. And honestly, we had people who worked for Otto for 45 years. They have never seen anything else. So we need to make them aware that there are languages other than German. You need to talk to the business needs to talk to IT, they need to work together. We had to change that organizational setup. So speaking of working together, we wanted to have integrated product teams. We did not want to have supply and demand anymore. We wanted to, being able, we heard yesterday about the product setup. That's what we wanted, and we knew that's what we needed to be successful. And last but not least, the cultural transformation, right? So again, people being used to all of that in the past, and you may know how formal Germans can be in their addressing with thee and a tie every day, and so that needed to be changed to be more flexible, to be more agile. But how did we do
at the same time running full speed? So that was a bit the challenge that we were facing. How did we do it? So we decided very early in the process, we can't do it with legacy, we can't do it with all these old processes. We need to do something completely new from scratch. So what I did is I had an office building down the road from our campus, because I thought when we do something new, we need to leave the old offices. So we went somewhere else, tried to set up this little startup feel. We started small with 3 teams. We called it Deep Sea. We created these mission stickers for every big milestone. We created a mission sticker. We tried to do the startup thing. So at the bottom, you see Bobby car racing backwards, produced a hole in the wall, and was a lot of fun, and really engaged the people to think new. We created teams in a form that we wanted to have product teams, so 3 product teams. But we chose the product owners from business to have the connection to business. That was tricky, because we needed to have people with good process, the existing process, but we're able to open their mind, to put this process in the back of their mind and create something new. So PO from business, a technical designer from our tech teams, willing and open to learn new stuff, new technology, new ways of working. And we found out that PO and TD, they speak somehow different language, business and tech. So we created a new role, business design lead, like a translator between the 3 of them. And we called these 3, this is then they're heading these product teams. And we hired ThoughtWorks. We needed help with understanding how agile works, how product development works. We needed capacity. We needed a lot of help just to get this thing up and running. Thank you, Divas, for your continuous support. It really helped us, and it really makes a big difference. So thank you, Divas. This is from the head of the Hyderabad ThoughtWorks office, and this is the first crew in Hyderabad we started with. The one or other might see one of your fellow colleagues. So it was a great thing. So we went over there, spoke to the people, they understood what we were looking for, and it really helped us to get this thing rolling. What the message in the middle, we build future of retail by providing, it's a beautiful message. That one was created during our first inception in Hamburg together with the ThoughtWorks teams, and it somehow outlined how we want to tackle this whole marketplace thing. We want to be the good ones, right? Amazon is not so good, and we want to be the good ones. So this is what we try to achieve. Another thing here on the picture is a transformation like this needs to have the full organization involved. And what we did was a lot of stakeholder management. This is our board, our Otto board for board members. They were fully engaged in the project. This is where they celebrate the start of one of the next milestones. It's our current milestone, and they were really happy that we could start on time. So the board is really engaged. It's not like we sent them a quarterly report. They are involved in all of these discussions. A bit more technical thing, what we did is we did a lot of MVPs, so minimal viable product. Ways of working, as Knut said, changed. We tried to get with new technology stuff out there very fast. MVP is always a bit of a risk. Is it too minimal, maybe? But one example, for example, we started Otto Partner Connect, the connecting for our marketplace partners to onboard them on our web page, bring in articles and all these things. Otto Partner Connect was super minimal. It was really super minimal. We asked some of the partners that we identified if they would help us, if they would like to use this very easy interface to use. And it was very, very minimal. These are the general managers of Latupo and Solway, two of our partners that we still do business with today. And the good thing about the MVP was we got something out there fast. They used it. They told us what they liked, what they did not like. Very experienced partners. They do a lot of business with Amazon as well. And they could exactly tell us what they want. And by iteration over iteration, we got better and got better. And it was tailor-made for our partners. So that was a good thing. Another element, showcase. So this was more team culture, internal thing. But we provided showcases to our teams every other week. Deep Sea TV, we have an own TV channel for that internally. And Serkan is the host. Serkan leads Deep Sea and is the host of Deep Sea TV. And this provides the teams the chance to shine, to show what they did in the last sprint, to really demonstrate what the next iteration will bring, what the last iteration will bring, what customer-facing features they delivered. And at the same time, it puts a little bit like pressure on them because they need something to shine. We grew heavily. So we started small with 3 teams. We are at 150 product teams at the moment. And this is a massive workforce, but it's also a massive complexity to align in an agile world 150 product teams so that they work in the same direction. We developed a dedicated process for this, the shooter process. Just very quickly how this thing works. Every process change, every technology change, everything where technology is involved, every topic, be it client topic, compliance topics, payments topics, whatever, we put on a card. So these are the cards. Nowadays it's in Jira, but we started with proper cards. And together with the board, we prioritize them from 1 to whatever it is, usually 140, 150 topics for the next 3 months. So it's always the next 3 months iterate. And we say this is the most important thing, and then it goes down. And the teams use this prioritization and say, well, we can give you this, we can give you this, tick, tick, green, we can't give you this fully, yellow, scope reduced, and we can't give you this at all, red. And by this, we really get a great transparency in. We get a great alignment between 150 product teams in. And this is exactly what you see there with, just example, 4 different iterations and where the topics then land. If all the top topics are green, we're in good shape. If you already see on second position something in yellow, it's not so good. So these are some technique that we developed. And then we had to build a bank. Buy now, pay later is an important element of our business model that works quite easily if we only ship our own goods. If we sell third-party goods, we touch third-party money, and so the regulator has a lot of expectations how to do that. One expectation is that you need to get a banking license. So we had to create a bank, Otto Payments, from scratch. We purchased the core banking solution, but we had to build a lot of things around that. But by copying all the experience we made from Deep Sea, same processes, same techniques, we were able to set up Otto Payments, obtain the license, get the banking solution up and running, and migrate our first partners to Otto Payments in only 3 years. So I think that's quite impressive that we were able to develop a payment solution so fast, and keep in mind it was during COVID. So it was all remote. Many of the people never saw each other in real life for 2 to 3 years. So that's also quite remarkable. So we did a lot, but Knut, was it successful?
It was indeed. And here are the numbers to prove that. So we had 0 partners in 2018. We now have over 6,500, and we're growing each day. So that number is probably outdated as we speak. Then we had, before we started, we had about 45 million qualified visits per month to our website and app. Now we have about 100 million, so we more than doubled that. Also, the marketplace revenue, which was not existing, obviously, we now have 2.5 unicorns running around in our building. If we look at that from a startup perspective, it is impressive. I don't know any other startup achieving that within like 2-3 years, a revenue of 2.5 billion. The number of active customers, we were idling around at roughly 7 million for a couple of years. Now we also almost doubled that at 12 million now. COVID helped, of course, but we continue the growing number of customers, which is great. Which also, I think one of the attributes to that is that we had, at the beginning, only like 2.8 million SKUs. Now we have 18 million, growing every day. Obviously, also attributed to the partners. To make that a little bit more tangible, every other washing machine ordered online in Germany comes from Otto, and every third television set comes from Otto as well. So it is impressive, and what we see in those numbers is that what the teams build, what we build, was not just an MVP, it scales easily. It is, the feedback we get from our partners, but also from the customers, are very positive. And just one tiny remark, we know that we are benchmarking, with the other competitors there. There's one thing where we are much better. If you are a partner on our Otto platform, your products, once you upload them and they are sellable, they're online within minutes. The other bigger competitor, it takes several hours, if not days. So, what did we learn from that?
Some takeaways for you, maybe. And what I was smiling yesterday, because I think all of these lessons learned we heard yesterday in the one or the other speech. So more, I think we do all the same. Start small, that worked very well for us. It gave the organization the time to grow into these new processes, ways of working. Start with only 3 teams, and then we grew, and that really helped us. MVP helped a lot, getting things out there, trying if they work, some do not work. But with the technology we use, we can change this in minutes. Teams deploy every day, so it's a very rapid way of developing. And if you then really get good feedback, you can increase and get better over time very fast. Continuous delivery, no big bang. We chose a migration method where we could really migrate in a very, very risk-free environment. So at the moment while we stand here, we are migrating 22 million customers from our old legacy retail system to our new system. And the fact that we stand here and talk to you should demonstrate that it works quite nicely. We chose a path that we can select customer by customer and migrate completely risk-free. I once did Big Bang, never do it again. So showcase every other week maybe sounds silly, but I think it makes a big difference if the teams really feel that they can shine, but they need to have something to shine. And on top, we had one important milestone per year. So currently, we do a customer migration. Last year, we did this rate pay the auto payments migration, where we had other payment provider before and migrated out. So it helped me for the stakeholder management to have one big milestone per year, although the teams deploy all the time. But for senior stakeholder board members, it's a bit easier to say, well, we have this one big business milestone per year, helped in communication. And culture. And I think this is what we heard in every talk, that culture makes a big difference. You need to be so careful with not losing the people, taking all the people with you on this journey. Measure success. We developed a tool called High Five, where we every other week ask every employee, how do you feel? How do you see your team is working? Do you get the information you need? Do you think if you need help, does someone help you? So it's just a short questionnaire. We do this every other week and then do a lot of data mining and that, and can really pinpoint which team is in trouble, where do we see some issues in business, where can we increase the change support so that these teams then all work in an ideal way. So a lot of things you heard, and to wrap it up, our time is over, unfortunately. But I think one last message. I think we clearly demonstrated business transformation is possible.
But it never ends. Thank you.
Thank you so much.